Now, every once in a while, Moses, we all need some time to relax and unwind and hit the reset button.
It's always nice, too, whenever you get the chance to relax and have fun. And unfortunately, we have to get back to the desk. And it's so, too, the Rustlers have to get back to the court. Of course, the last time they were on was a couple weekends ago. Last weekend, they had a bye week. Just like us, it's over, and they have to get back to the grind, as Josh Ryan reports, as well as they're hoping to gain some momentum heading into the big dance come March.
Having played almost every weekend since mid-September while managing homework on the side, the Lakeland Rustlers women's basketball team was ready for a break.
We run really hard, we work hard in practice, so our bodies definitely need a rest, but I think mentally we need a rest too.
Just catching up on a lot of sleep that I think a lot of us have missed out on over the past few weeks with midterms and just other exams, assignments, so just catching up on sleep really helps a lot.
Even Coach Chris King enjoyed the time off during the bye week.
I got to do a little fishing, so it's good. I didn't see the girls so much, but it gave me a chance to watch a lot of tape on the South teams that we might face first or second round of playoffs.
Now the squad is fresh for the final 2 weeks of the season before the conference championship in March. 3 of the last 4 games are on the road, a little motivation to keep up the intensity in practice.
We have to go into every game like we're playing the best team because it's easy to play down to a team's level. So I think it really shows if you're a stronger team, you're able to play your level regardless of what team you're playing.
And as the Rustlers' final regular season home game is against the winless Kings Eagles, the focus is solely on their own side of the court, helped along with a modified practice schedule going forward to better train for the 3-day grind of playoff basketball.
What we're trying to do is get more in the first 2 days, really focus on ourselves today in terms of half-court stuff, little transition. The second day is going to be a lot of gameplay.
Our first game will be on a Thursday. We're only going to get a couple days of practice, so it's kind of going to show us what it's going to be like for us that week.
Josh Ryan, Newcap Sports.
Sticking with college sports, the Lakeland Rustlers futsal teams wrapped up the second qualifying tournament over the weekend. Both the men and women faced the Keyano Huskies. We'll begin with the ladies. Rustlers sloppy turnover. There we go. Rustlers sloppy turnover, and it's going to lead to a chance for the Huskies. Midhanit McGillis will fire it home 1-0 Huskies. Now Rustlers would even it up, a pass behind or find Sarah Patterson. She puts it home. We're all tied up at 1 apiece. Off the inbound, it's going to be Barbara Nascimento who puts it off the post and in. Huskies now up 2-1. Nascimento gets her second off Nicole Parrott. Huskies win 3-1.
Poor weekend for our female program. 1 win, 2 losses. Critical errors. I think the mental piece was lacking still. So I was disappointed in our results and for the most part our performances.
To the men's side, Rustlers force a turnover. It's going to be Stefan Kukovic, who's well loved here at Newcap, putting on a nice little show, walking around 3 Huskies and sliding it into the open cage. Rustlers up 1-0. Now the Rustlers would force another turnover a little bit later. It's going to be Shaby Rayom. He gets help from the Huskies D. It's now 2-0 for the green and gold. But the Huskies would tie this one up at 2. Then a little bit after that, Pedro Bianchi will fire it upstairs. The Huskies take the lead for the first time, 3-2. Justin Wormlinger will tie it up at 3 at half. We'll go after the restart. The Rustlers off to a good start. James Wood throws it to Braden Betzer, who connects with Kukovic. He taps it in for his second of the game. It's now 5-4 Rustlers. The Huskies now taking a 6-5 lead. It's going to be Kukovic who spins off defender and fires it home for the hat trick. The Rustlers tie it up, and you can tell is definitely pumped up for this one. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way, as Santiago Riagoza will put this one away for the game winner. Huskies win 7-6.
We were up 2-0, went down 3-2, so we did come back, so we got the mental pieces there for us. Now I've got to get Braden back to scoring some, and Lewis and Corbin, but overall throughout the 6 games we played, it has been spread out, but we needed, the front players have been good. Now in the attack, now it's just our back players, so the Darkos, Justins, threats in a few more places.
Now the Lloydminster Pipeline Bobcats wrapped up first place in the AMHL, but there's definitely some incentive on Sunday. A point over the Canadian Athletic Club would set a new midget AAA record for most points in a regular season. Pick this up in the third period with the Cats on the power play and down 5-4. It's going to be Chase Waters in on the forecheck, going to work. He'll eventually win the board battle. going to drive to the net and will snipe it upstairs. Beauty goal. That ties it up at 5 apiece. Late in the third, the Cats looking for that go-ahead goal. Franklin gets away with one. It's going to be Bryce Kindop who will beat the goalie, but the puck will trickle wide. This one would end in a 5-5 tie. Great season for the Cats nevertheless. 26-5-3 was a record, setting the record for most points in the regular season with 55.
We're short-staffed today, and I thought the boys gave a good effort. You know, it's a tough one, right? It's a nothing game for us, but the boys showed up and played, you know, not our best hockey, but they competed.
Certainly a good time to be a hockey player in Lloydminster. One Lloydminster Bobcat in particular received some accolades from the league this week. Defenseman Christian Lloyd was named to the Canalta AJHL, or was named the Canalta AJHL Player of the Week. Now Lloyd tallied 7 points, 6 of them assists in 3 games. The Oakville, Ontario native becomes the 4th Bobcat to receive Player of the Week honors this season. Now, getting taught how to skate when you're younger is a special and exciting experience, but when you get taught from members of a community-owned hockey team, the Lloydminster Bobcats, it's something students from St. Mary's Elementary School can brag to their friends. Drew Miller has more in this week's Beyond the Boards.
Here they go, watch them. On a whistle, they'll stop.
It was a day to remember for many grade 3 students as they were completing a Learn to Skate program taught by the members of the Lloydminster Bobcats.
Some have had some lessons and are good and stable on their skates, and other ones are beginners. So we just want to give them over a period of 3 weeks some just instrumental things they need to know about tips on skating and learning to skate.
Getting to see the kids enjoy the time on the ice makes it hard for the Bobcats not to think about when they were a child learning to play hockey.
It gives you memories back when you were a kid and you had like dad or older player or something like that coming out and teaching you. But yeah, it's good because it's role reversal for when you were a kid. You get to teach them, and it's always nice to see them having fun and smiling and laughing and stuff like that.
Skating is a fun and cheap activity that young students can do, and getting the chance to learn from the Bobcats is just the cherry on top.
They were so excited. It was such a big celebration when we got the grant, and then finding out it was the Bobcats was just like over the moon. Like it could have been the Oilers. It was such a good surprise.
I used to play hockey when I was about 5 or 6 years old.
And what's the most fun thing you've done here today and just the previous lessons?
Learning how to do our hockey stance.
And who knows, maybe that hockey stance will help him and many of these kids crack the Bobcat lineup one day. Drew Miller, Newcap Sports.